Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, we will see some AWS networking based troubleshooting scenarios. So I'll be doing multiple videos. So I'll start from some basic troubleshooting scenarios and then I'll move on to some advanced one. So I'm going to do multiple videos on this entire series of troubleshooting. All right, let's get started. So scenario number one is you have a bastion host which you are trying to access from your laptop and you are unable to access to it. In companies, you will have this type of scenario wherein you have a bastion host which you are using to access the other main application servers. So generally speaking, these bastion hosts will have a public IP attached to it. Not in all the companies, but where I'm working, I've seen this that you have a bastion host with a public IP attached so that you are able to access to that machine, and from there you can access all the other machines. So I have an EC2 instance. So this is the instance that I'm trying to access to from my laptop. So I'll click on connect. I'll copy the example command and I'll go to my MobiXterm terminal and I'll hit enter. So you can see the error has come. So connect to host, this port 22 connection timed out. So networking is not working. So we are not able to reach AWS network from my laptop and being able to access to this EC2 instance, which is the bastion host. So we'll see how we can start to troubleshoot. So I'm going to go to my AWS account. This is the instance. So I'll click on the instance ID. The first thing that you can check here, I have some architectural diagram to make you understand. So suppose this is my instance. This is my bastion host, which I'm trying to access uh, from my laptop, which means that I'm trying to come via the public internet to this EC2 instance. So the first thing, whenever on the networking side something doesn't work, you will check the firewall attached to the EC2 instance, which is the security group. So first thing is we will see the security group rules, whether the traffic from a laptop to this EC2 instance is allowed on the inbound interface of the security group. So I'll head back to my AWS account, and here you can see you can go to security tab and you can check the security group. So I will open this in a new tab, and on the inbound rule you can see that there is one rule which has been added. Okay, so you can see port 22 SSH traffic is allowed and there's one IP address. So this is actually the IP address of my laptop. If I just hit refresh on this one, you can use this website to confirm the IP address. So you can see this is the IP address of my laptop, and this is the same ID, this is the same IP which is added here as well. So 106.219.121.151. So this is clearly configured, so it's not an issue with the security group. So security group is fine. Next thing is you will check the route table to which your instance's subnet is associated to. So you'll go to your instance, you will go to networking this time, and next thing is you're going to check the subnet. So you can click on the subnet, it's going to open a new tab. So each subnet in a VPC, because instances are always created in a VPC, and each instance is attached or is part of one subnet, and the subnet resides in a VPC. And you can see this is the subnet in which my instance resides, and you can click on the subnet ID here, and then you can check there's one route table which this subnet is part of. So we need to click on the route table to check the allow rules of the route table. So this is a route table, and these are the routes that are allowed in this route table. So you can clearly see that there is only one route which is the default route of the route table. So it is not allowing my IP address. So my IP address is not listed anywhere. So if I go back to the diagram here, so there is no route on the route table to reach my EC2 instance. So this is the main issue. Okay, so our security group is configured correctly. The route table associated with the subnet in which my EC2 instance resides in do not have any route which allows my laptop's traffic to reach this EC2 instance. So this is the issue here. So what we need is we need an internet gateway. So we should have an internet gateway attached to a VPC, and we should have the route added in the route table where your route table added for the subnet where your instance is, and your route table should have the route which allows my laptop's traffic to the instance via the internet gateway, because to reach this instance from outside I need internet gateway based route allowed to the route table here. So I'll go back here. First thing is I will check whether my VPC is having any internet gateway or not. Okay, so the process is you're going to create an internet gateway. Each internet gateway is attached to one VPC. So we will attach that to VPC, and then we will add the route to the route table within that VPC. Okay, so let's click on internet gateway. I'll just copy the VPC ID once from here, and I'll go to internet gateway. So I have two internet gateways here. So I'll just filter it out with the VPC ID, because for each VPC ID, there can be only one internet gateway. So for this VPC where my instance is, I can see there's one internet gateway already created, and it is attached to the VPC as well. Okay, so internet gateway is there in the VPC. So this is fine. Only the route is missing. Route or route also you can say. So this is the route table of the subnet where my instance is. So I'll click on edit routes, add route. I'll just type. So here I'm allowing this 0.0.0/0, but if you want, you can allow just one IP address also. Okay, but I just want to keep it simple here. So I'm allowing all the traffic to go through. So internet gateway, here you will get the internet gateway. prod-igw is my internet gateway, and save changes. So now if I go back to the diagram, I have the internet gateway attached to the VPC, which is allowing traffic through this public route table where my instances subnet resides. So this traffic is now complete as per the diagram. Okay, we just needed to add this route using the internet gateway. So if I go here, so the route is there, internet gateway, which means that now I should be able to log into the machine. So I'll go back to my mobile external terminal and I'll try again. And this time you can see it's working. So I'm able to log into this machine. So this was the issue. So it was related to route table misconfiguration. Okay, so this is a perfect example of how a VPC and subnet and route table work together to create a route that you need from your laptop to this EC2 instance. So scenario number 2 is once again we have an EC2 instance. It's going to be our bastion host, and we will have the same issue, but the cause of the issue will be different. So unable to access to the bastion host even though our route table and security groups are configured correctly. So we need to see what else can be the issue even though we have configured our security groups and route tables correctly. So I'll head back to my AWS account, and I'm going to once again try to SSH to this bastion host. So I'll copy this. You can see it has failed again. And once again, we will start our troubleshooting the same way we did in scenario 1. So first I will check instances security group. I'm following this diagram. So the first thing you should check is a security group which allows or denies inbound and outbound traffic to this mesh to this EC2 instance. So go to security. Security group is already opened actually. So this is the security group bastion-sg, and you can clearly see that it is allowing my IP address. So this is not an issue. Next thing, once again, we can check is the subnets route table. So the subnet in which your EC2 instance resides, you will check the route table of the subnet. So this is the route table of the subnet. You can see the subnet ID. It's 26AB subnet 26AB. So this is the route table, and I'll just hit refresh once. Let's click on the route table again, and you can see the internet gateway route is also added. So this is not the issue. This is not the issue this time. So our security group and route table is configured correctly. Even then, we are not able to access to this instance. What could it be? Think about it for a moment. If you have learned about the fundamentals of VPC, you will be able to figure it out. So there's another firewall that sits on the subnet level. It's called NACL, Network Access Control List. So we will check the security group, we will check the route table, internet gateway route, added or not. Then if it still doesn't work, we can check the network access control list attached to the uh, subnet. So each subnet's traffic is controlled via an NACL that sits in the VPC. So I've already opened the subnet somewhere. This is the subnet, and we have checked the route table. It's fine. Other thing is network access control list. So this is a firewall that controls the inbound and outbound traffic of the entire subnet. So I'll click on this. I'll click on this ACL ID and I'll check the rules that are added. So you can clearly see that there is one rule. It's a deny rule, which is denying SH traffic, and rule number is 1. So this is going to be the first rule that will be implemented in this NACL. Okay, NACL works the lowest rule number is going to be implemented first, and it's going to overpower other rules. If you have if you have like multiple rules and you've allowed something on the next rule, it's not going to make much difference. The rule number matters a lot. So this is rule number 1. So this is going to be applied, which is a deny rule. So it's denying port number 22 on this subnet. So this works on the subnet level, which means that all the resources on these two subnets will not be able to no one can go through port number 22 on these two subnets. So this is the issue right now. So I'll click on edit inbound rules, and I'm going to allow the traffic, and I'm going to save changes. So now network access control list has also been corrected. So let's check now. So I'll try again to SH this time, and you can see it's working now. So this was the issue. The traffic was blocked on the network access control list level, which is again a firewall which runs on the subnet level. So it controls inbound and outbound traffic to the entire subnet and not just EC2 instance. Okay, security groups just controls the traffic on the instance level, and NACL controls the traffic on the subnet level. So these are the two scenarios that we have covered so far. Next scenario is you are running a web server on an EC2 instance, or on a group of EC2 instances which are part of an autoscaling group. The autoscaling group is integrated with an application load balancer, and the application load balancer is throwing 502 bad gateway. A very common issue when you use ALB And as you can see right now, so this is an ALB DNS endpoint, and I'm seeing 502 bad gateway. So before I explain about troubleshooting the issue, let's see why this issue can happen in the first place. So let me walk you through about the setup that I have. So I have an application load balancer, as you can see, ALB. ALB has been integrated with an auto scaling group. So auto scaling group, this is the name of the uh, uh, application load balancer target group. And if you see the load balancer, if you go to listeners and rules, you can see this application load balancer is forwarding the traffic to this target group called web, and web is the target group that is integrated with my auto scaling group. And this auto scaling group is using a launch template here. This launch template is using an AMI which has my web server configuration. I'm using Apache web server here. So this AMI has all the Apache web server configuration. Then if you go to instance management, you can see there is one instance running as part of this auto scaling group, which is serving my traffic on the web server. And but the load balancer is throwing 502 bad gateway when I access its endpoint. So let's see why this issue can happen in the first place. What are the various reasons due to which this issue can occur? So this issue can happen since I'm using Apache. So I'll talk in respect to Apache web server. So Apache service not running, or if you have misconfigured your Apache configuration file where you have configured an incorrect port on which your service is listening on, for example 8080 instead of default 80, or it can be due to EC2 security group not allowing traffic from your application load balancer security group, your target group protocol mismatch, HTTP versus HTTPS. It can be due to a port mismatch on your target group as well. It can be due to Apache returning invalid malformed response. So once again, this is related to your Apache server configuration, which is not properly configured. Or it can be due to your backend application crashing behind the Apache, behind Apache. Then it can be an issue with high CPU memory causing the backend to close the connection. And that is why we are seeing the error on the load balancer 502. Or it may be due to SE Linux on your EC2 instance that is running your web server, that it is blocking Apache. Or it can be some incorrect proxy configuration in Apache as well. So as I mentioned, this issue can occur with various there can be various different reasons due to which this issue can occur. If I talk about the quick rule, so if you see a 502 bad gateway, it means that your application load balancer was able to reach the instance, but the backend response was invalid or failed. So there was no response from the instance back to the application load balancer. Now let's see how we can start to investigate the issue. So I'll start from the AWS management console where we are seeing the issue 502 bad gateway. The first thing is I'm going to go to my load balancer. I'll check the listener and I'll just click on the target group. So in your application load balancer, your target group has your health check configured. The health checks happen on the backend instances which you are using. So let's see the status of the health checks that are configured on the target group, which are attached to my which are attached to my application load balancer. So we can clearly see that there is one instance attached and it is showing unhealthy, health checks failed. Okay, health checks failed. So just after looking at this, what I can do is if I have access to the backend instance, I can quickly check the status of my web server or the Apache web service, whether the service is healthy or not. So that's the first thing that you can do after you check the health status, after you check the health check of your application load balancers target group instance. So it is showing unhealthy here. So we can just quickly check whether the service itself is running or not. So this is the backend instance where my web server is running, Apache web server is running. So the first thing is I can check the status. So I can do systemctl status. Apache is called httpd. I'm using Amazon Linux AMI here. So there you use httpd as the package name for Apache, and you can use systemctl to check the status. So clearly you can see the service is not active, so it is saying failed. And then in the events you can also see why it failed. It clearly says that there's some syntax error on line number 375 of your main configuration file of Apache, which is /etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf. Another very good step that I always use is generalctl -u for the service name, for the unit name, and then you can just type the name of the service. So I just want to check all the generalctl logs for my httpd service. Here also you can see invalid common invalid directive, perhaps misspelled or failure, and it is on line number 375 of the httpd.conf file. So invalid command, invalid directive, perhaps misspelled or defined by a module not included in the server configuration. httpd.service failed with result exit code. So clearly we can see that it is an issue with our main configuration file for httpd, and it is on line number 375. So let me open the file quickly so I can just copy the path from here. And I can just use set number feature to set the line number in the file. And I can go to line number 375 where I am right now. And it is the last line actually of the file, and you can see there is one directive, invalid directive on. So this is the issue. So here I've just created a demo directive here, but in real world you may have some spelling mistake in one of the directives that you are using in this file. So you just need to correct that. But in my case, this is just a demo directive, so I'm just going to delete it, and I'm going to save and quit, and I'm going to restart my Apache web server. So I'll do systemctl restart httpd. I can check the status now. I can see it's active running 8 seconds ago. So everything is looking good. Now I can go back to my ALB, and I can refresh the page and see whether I'm able to access the website. And you can see I'm able to access the website. So this is my web server. This is my website that is running on my Apache web server on the EC2 instance, and it is exposed via this application load balancer endpoint, DNS endpoint. So if I go to my target group as well, if I hit refresh, I can see the status is healthy as well. So everything is looking good. It was just a misconfiguration in the httpd configuration file. So I just fix the issue, and after you apply any changes to your main configuration file, you need to restart the daemon which is impacted, which was httpd in my case. So as soon as I restarted the daemon, I was able to get the health check on my load balancer as healthy, and I was able to access the website on the ALB DNS endpoint. Okay, so this was this scenario. Next question. So this is a real interview question asked from someone. So let's see. In same VPC, in same subnet, there are two EC2 instances or servers. The user is able to access only one EC2 server and not the other one. How can you troubleshoot? Okay, so someone asked this question, and he appeared for an interview. So let's see how we can answer the question. So there can be various reasons to this particular question. So we'll see what all options are there. Okay, so here the interviewer just wants to understand whether you know the core VPC concepts or not. So this question is only for the people who already understand how VPC, the different subnet configuration, internet gateways, route tables, NAT gateways, security groups, network access control lists. So if you already understand these particular individual concepts which are part of VPC networking, so only then you will be able to answer this question. So let's see how you can go about it. So there are two EC2 instances, okay, and you're able to access one, not the other. The most common issue or the most easy answer to this question is that the security group with the second server or the second EC2 instance is not correct, or the security group do not have the right rules in it. Okay, so step one is going to be you need to check the security groups, which is going to be the most common cause. Even the same subnet, security groups can be different because security groups are tied to EC2 instances and not to the entire subnet, right? So here you should, so if you understand how security groups work, you will be able to answer this question. So does the second EC2 instance allow inbound port 22 from your IP, from the user's IP who is trying to access this machine? Does it allow from bastion host if used? Once again, if you are on a bastion host and you're trying to access it, is the security group of the second server allowing the IP of the bastion host, right? So these are some of the things that you can tell in the interview as well. So you need to check EC2, in EC2 instance, just check the security groups and check the inbound rules as well, right? Then if the security groups allow everything, then you can check the subnet level firewall, right? So this is going to be a step one. Step two, you will check the subnet level firewall. Since both are in same subnet, which means that your your network access control list, which applies to both EC2 instances, but you need to check the rule order as well. Okay, so a possible issue could be that ephemeral ports are blocked, inbound 22 allowed but outbound ephemeral denied. So as you already know that network access control lists are stateless. So whatever you allow on the inbound, the return traffic should also be allowed on the outbound interface. Else it's not going to work for you. So you need to ensure that you have inbound and outbound configured. Also, you need to check the order of the different rules. So order also matters. So whatever inbound or outbound rule has lower number in terms of the order number, then that rule is going to be applied and it's going to override the other rules with the higher rule number. So that's how your NACL works. So just ensure that you have the inbound and outbound rules and there are no ephemeral ports blocked on the NACL. So you can go to VPC, then network ACL and check the inbound and outbound, right? So as I mentioned, NACLs are stateless, so you must allow in both directions to work. Then step 3 is EC1 has public IP, EC2 does not. So this is where I was talking about that this thing you can ask from the interviewer, whether the two EC2 instances that you're talking about are to be accessed via the public IP or you are trying to access in a private network. So if this is the case that both the EC2 instances are to be accessed via a public IP, then the common scenario, of course, then that EC2 has the public IP, you are able to access it from your IP, and EC2 or the second EC2 do not have the public IP, so you're not able to access it. So like not very common issue. I think he was looking for this answer only. These are the two common answers to this question. But if you ask this question to the interviewer whether you're trying to access these via the public IP or not, then you can quote for this answer also. Step 4, it can be an issue on the OS level as well. So your security group is correct, your NACL is correct, but your SSH service itself on the server is not working, right? This also can be one of the issues, that on the AWS level everything is configured correctly, but your SSH service on the second EC2 instance is not working. So your SSH daemon stopped or is in error. So you have to check that. Okay, so you have to check the status first, and then you can check the logs also of SSH, whether your SSH service is healthy or not, or are there any errors into that, right? Then step number 5, it can be a key pair issue as well. Sometimes your SSH key is not proper, or you're using incorrect username with the second server. You have the wrong PEM file. So this was key pair issue. Okay, this is step 6 actually. Here I mentioned step 7. So this is step 6. So step 6 is you check your instance status checks. So there can be an issue with the instance itself, right? The initial status checks that we do, if any of those checks have failed for the second EC2 instance, in that case also you will not be able to SSH to that machine. So you need to check all the 3 status checks that are there and see whether that instance is healthy or not. Okay, so this can be like one of the issues as well. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, I request you to please hit the like button, please share this with others, and please do subscribe to my channel. Also, I have a lot of real world content on my channel. I have various playlists, so please check the other content as well. And yeah, that's all for this one, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.